Couple people? Okay. I think it works even better if you're a bigger organization. Basecamp is a little more difficult if you're a smaller organization. Asana is wonderful for that. Then there's Huddle, 5 p.m. QuickBooks if you're doing more of your project management and your billing. I use Design Manager. Studio Webware is another very, very popular. To me, Studio Webware and Design Manager are really the two biggest players, but Ivy has now come in a big way. I don't know Ivy very well, and then there's MyDoma also that's come in recent years. So there are a lot of things to choose from, but if you have something that works for you, I'm not telling you to change. I just want you to look at it and make sure what you have is working for you in a really profound way. These are some online productivity task tools that we're using. PlanGrid allows you with an app to go and draw a plan. There's a new one on the market. Have any of you heard of 3Dayser? No? Okay, so 3Dayser is awesome. It's this laser tool that's so much better than the Bosch laser that a lot of us were using to measure. It draws the plan in an app on your phone. It allows you to have things saved in the cloud. Elevations are also drawn with dimensions. You can send these as PDFs to your vendors, so your window treatment and your workroom can just get you quotes so quickly. And I have a code for you if you want to write this down for $20 off the price of this tool, and it's amazing. We use it for every survey that we do. The code is capital P, HLIS, the numbers 19, and then SAV, capital S, 20. And if anybody doesn't get that, I'll be in the back afterward. Capital P, PH, capital P, and then small HLIS, the numbers 19, and then SAV, S is in Sam, A, V is in Victor, capital S is in Sam, 20. Okay? They just gave this to me this morning, or it would have been up here, so I apologize for that. But it's a great tool. It's won some awards. 3Dayser. Okay? That's my newest, most fun. Also, there are a couple of different things that have come up in terms of recording. Say you're at a meeting, you might take notes very differently than your assistant might take notes, or your project manager might take notes, and things get missed or lost in translation. I have two apps that I love for recording. One is Audio Note, and it's amazing. It's been on my phone and my iPad for maybe 6 years now. And Audio Note allows you to not only record, but you can video clips, you can take pictures, you can write notes in it, and it's an amazing tool. I absolutely love it. And something new that's a transcribing app is called Oli, and that is the one that's up on the right over here. And that is an app that just has come out recently. It's really terrific transcription. You get 600 minutes free per month, I think it is, and then there are paid plans if you're doing more of the recordings. Obviously, you're going to ask if it's okay to record your meeting with whoever you're in the meeting with and get them to sign off on that, like a scribe, and they have to just talk in and say, yes, it's okay to record. But it's a great way for you to then have a transcription of your meeting, and then you can judge those notes to make sure that they work and then send them out to the clients or the vendors or your team, okay? So highly recommend that you do that. How many of you use CAD in the room? A lot of us, right? Who's using AutoCAD 360 on their phones or their iPads? Huge, amazing time saver. We were at a job site. I didn't have my computer with me. I had all of these plans for the client uploaded to my AutoCAD, and I was able to go on the 360 app, pull up the plan. You can dimension. They wanted to know a dimension. The contractor was there and it needed a dimension like right away for something that we were doing, and you're able to just get that information on the fly. So it's a really great app for you to add. If you're using AutoCAD, it's part of that package. So highly recommend that you do that. And if you're not using AutoCAD yet in your business and it's because of the cost, look at AutoCAD LT. It has almost all of the deliverables that you would get with the full package for a small business, and it really works well, and it's about $400 a year or $500 a year for each subscription. So we have like 5 subscriptions in my office, but it's worth it to do that for us. Because then for the 3D, we go to Google SketchUp or we'll do something else. So I think that this would be a great thing for you to look at and invest in. Evernote's been around for a long time. Dropbox is great. Everybody knows about it. Everybody has it. I tend to like Google Drive now a little bit more. It's more user-friendly in my opinion, and you have more capability of organization within Google. OneDrive is another tool that people are using. I did not find it user-friendly, but that's just me. Everybody has their own way of working with different tools. And then if you're doing PDF work, I annotate PDF Max. Those are great. We have Docs Anywhere on our phones, so we can download documents and I can pull them up on the fly, and that's been very helpful. For purchase orders, we'll make the PDF. If my clients are somewhere across the world that nobody has fax machines anymore, that they're faxing back signed purchase orders. So I just buy them the app, it's $10, and they can sign away all the purchase orders, get them back to me, and we can get orders placed very, very quickly. So all of these things are time savers for you and will hopefully streamline your productivity. Social media, I'm not going to go too far into this, but if you want to snap a picture, because we did have an expert social media in Libby, so I don't want to go too into this, but these are some tools that we use. I have a social media manager who handles all of our social media, but it still needs to be your voice, okay? Your voice is what your fans and your potential clients and your potential collaborators want to hear. So you can have someone that manages all this for you and uploads and deals with all of the hashtagging, etc., but it should be your voice that's coming through whenever you're doing any types of posts on any platform. So just know that, and I think any social media expert will tell you that that is so important, because it is really about you and the connection you're making with that potential client or with your existing fan base. So how many of you know about Korra? Anybody here? No? Okay, Korra has been unbelievable for us. We were beta testers. It's an online platform, and I know for a fact that 5 clients that I have signed up with me over a competitor because of Korra. It is an online interactive tool that I use with my clients that lets me do presentations. I can create budgets through it. I can go to links on the web, show clients as much or as little information about the product as you want them to see. They don't need to see pricing. They don't need access to the link to the site where you're going if you don't want them to have that. But it's a really great way for you to communicate, because your clients, for them, this is fun. For you, this is work. So they might come home at night or on the weekend and be liking things and commenting on things that you can get back to them about on Monday morning or the next morning if it's a business day. But it frees you up from having tons of live face meetings, because everything lives in this platform. And it's also great if you're out and about and you're shopping and you can't remember, oh, what was that fabric that you spec'd for this sofa? Oh, just go to the Korra board. And we make boards that the client has a project, and then there's boards for each space within the project. So it really, really has worked tremendously for us. So I highly recommend you look at that. Okay, tracking your time and expenses. How many of you bill hourly still? A lot, okay. So when you're tracking, I've always found that it's very difficult to track your time and expenses unless you have a really, really good system. How many of you look at the hours you spent on a project at the end of the month and say, oh my gosh, I can't really bill that much, can I? Anybody? Yeah, I'm seeing, Because we don't understand that our value is so important, and we don't think that someone is going to want to pay for it. So I want you to think about your mindset wrapped around that particular issue. You are worth every moment that you've spent. Look at your attorneys. They're charging for every email, every 5-minute phone call. Do you ever feel that they shouldn't do that? No, because we're used to that, right? We're used to that. Why shouldn't you do it if you are billing hourly? Your time is your value. So be okay with that. Know that you're in your right to do that and charge for that. So when you're doing your time and expenses, you have your staff, you have yourself, you're going to be submitting. How you're going to submit is something we're going to talk about. Because just writing everything down every single time you have a phone call or you do an email or trying to look back at all of that stuff at the end of the month, you're going to get stuff that gets lost and falls into the cracks. So I really want you to think about not doing that. So timesheets are, as I said in the beginning, very old school, to just do a timesheet by hand and keep it at your desk, because a lot of us are rarely at our desks anymore. It's a different world that we live in. We're out and about, and our office is wherever we are now. So you can't really run around with that timesheet, am I right? It's very comfortable. So the time tracking apps. Here are some that I love. The one that I really love is QuickTime. I think that's one of the best that's out there. There are paid versions, there are free versions of different time trackers. I only do a little bit of hourly, and we'll talk a little bit about fee structures as we go through, but it helps me to really be clear about when I am tracking my hours, okay? And there's also another tool for tracking expenses. How many of you charge for expenses? Travel, transportation expenses? Okay, so I do too. And there's an app that I learned about 5 years ago. It's called Mile IQ. Does anybody know Mile IQ? Okay, it follows you. It's a little scary when it tells you you were on a train, and it's a little weird, but it's great because at the end of the month, it sends you this report, and I bill my clients monthly. So I can just, print it out, and I can highlight for each client what was their expense. And if I'm going in to shop, I can split the expense amongst 2 clients. So it really works out well, and it helps me to say, oh yeah, I went in on that day. Yeah, I don't have to go back to my calendar and look, because it's right there on a report that prints out. And I think it's, I don't know, $60 a year for this app. It's really well worth it. So I would look at that. Toggle's another one that people use. Hours tracker, I tried, and for some people they love it. They think it's the best. For me, QuickTime was better, but it's really, again, personal. That's why I put up a bunch of different things that you can look at. So the meeting, okay, the daily meeting. If you have a team, and even if you're a team of 2, make the time every day to have that meeting. It's really important. It can be live or it can be virtual. My meetings are generally virtual because my team is everywhere. Sometimes they're in the office with me, sometimes we're out in the field, sometimes we're all in different spaces, so we can meet virtually. You can do that with Skype, you can do it with Zoom. I love Zoom because Zoom you can see each other and you can pop in and out in the conversation. FaceTime is okay when you're, just one-on-one, but I don't think it works as well in other situations. But I have done FaceTime meetings with my clients, and when they don't have enough time for me to get all the way there and get all the way back. So think about how you're meeting, okay? That's important, but if you set a special time for this every day, whether it's at the beginning of the day, and I do recommend that at the beginning of the day if possible, and make it a routine that everybody knows from 8 to 8:30 or 8:30 to 9 or whatever it is in your office culture, you know that you've got a meeting that's gonna last for 15 to half an hour depending on the day. And what you can do as the business owner is the night before, set an agenda for your meeting. Even if it's loose and you want to just write it down for yourself and not send it out to the team, that's okay too, but set an agenda because it actually helps you to get things out of your brain into either the computer, your phone, in a note, or out into